I've just got a message from Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's the Shiv Sena Rajya Sabha MP. She's just sent me a message, and she's written a letter she's addressed this letter, yes, and she has written a letter to the Chief Justice of India, and she has urged, and I'm going to read it out. She's written a letter saying that I have written a letter to Honorable Law Minister, CJI Collegium Judges, with respect to a concerning order in the Allahabad High Court by Justice Mishra, where she mentions that grabbing of breasts or snapping pajama string is not attempt to rape and verdict. There is a distinction between the preparation stage and actual attempt. Now she basically is trying to refer to something else. But the point is that people in context with Justice Yashwant Varma's judicial orders are also talking about the fact that there should be a review of his judicial orders. Now, is that possible?
He's been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's been a judge since 2016. So in his tenure, he must have passed quite a few judgments. I don't think it is humanly possible to review each and every judgment, but I'm sure, if there is an in-house inquiry, they will go into the fairness of, the fairness of the judgments. I'm sure that the in-house inquiry team, because they themselves are chief justices and they know the law, so they will surely go into it.
No, but
what seems justified?
No, ma'am, but how in-depth will this in-house inquiry be? Now, from where he's got the money, who has paid him, or what is the conduit? Will all that be revealed in an in-house inquiry?
It will be. Of course, why not? What is an inquiry all about if not this? These are the basic things, that you have to explain how this money came. Now, if he obviously, whatever explanation that he will give, that will be looked into, that will be verified, not verified, whatever. And, lots of things may spill out. Lots of people may, heads may roll for all you know.
Right.
Who's involved, who's not involved, whose money was he holding? Was he holding his own money? Or is it, a High Court judge's house is a safe haven? You'll remember, there was this judge in Punjab and Haryana High Court. There was a mistake in the name, and the judge, the money landed up at the doorstep of a similar sounding judge's house doorstep. And when she Nirmal Yadav or somebody, and then she raised this point, and then it was found out that it was the other Nirmal Yadav or somebody who had actually, she was dealing and she was the corrupt person. So it can, all these things will come out.
But ma'am, now the thing is that will there be any attempt by the government to protect this judge? Will there be any attempt to protect Justice Yashwant Varma on the side of the Supreme Court? Because after all, these are all brother judges and they save each other's back. That's a known fact in the legal circles. Many people don't talk about it for given reasons, and I'm not getting into that. But what if the Supreme Court starts protecting a man like this who's tainted, who's corrupt, and from whose house this cash pile has been recovered? Now, there are chances that
I don't think the Supreme Court, I can say about the Supreme Court, I don't think, there may be various views. There may be various views as to how to proceed with him, but I don't think, that they will stand by him or they will, take his side and all that. Because, see, nothing can be seen in black and white. When you look into the legal ways of doing it, it may seem illogical, but it is logical. And therefore, I don't think the Supreme Court is going to protect a person like this. I don't think so.
Do you think that this particular episode is, if it is that unprecedented, it requires the intervention of the ruling government? Can the law ministry take some action, or they are not in the purview to do anything?
No, I don't think right now the law ministry can do anything about it. It's, how the judiciary itself proceeds with it. The way it is, they can recommend, his impeachment or whatever. They can lay the report of the in-house inquiry, and then the parliamentarians can do whatever they want with it.
The maximum the parliamentarians can do is to move an impeachment motion.
So the people are known, people who have resigned before the impeachment notice, etc. This also is true, that you know, whoever is the corrupt person has wriggled out of, any further action in the matter by resigning, by going into, whatever oblivion. People have done that.
But what do you think could be the best option? Should he be asked to resign, or should he just face an inquiry? That's it.
But he can be asked to resign, and why not? I mean, like on the face of it, he can be asked to resign. But and if he chooses not to, then things can go. But even if he is asked to resign, the point is, that doesn't really help the matter. You see, it's like just saying, you've cut off a branch which is dry, but whereas the rest of it, if it is seeped through, you need to go into it. You needed to understand how things are working, how things are working, because obviously this is not a normal situation. Who keeps 50 crores in cash at home? I mean, I've been looking for a flat. I don't have the money to buy even 3 crores flat. So this is the way an honest person works. So it's totally absurd. The money.
You yourself have been a judge in the Patna High Court. Do you think that any High Court judge, if he's working honestly, if he's working without taking bribes, can any point of time have a recovery of 50 crore cash in his house?
No, impossible. This money is impossible.
Which means
the money is impossible.
Which means that this is clearly a bribe money and nothing more.
Of course. It is illicit. It's ill-gotten money, obviously. Now, whether he's holding that ill-gotten money for somebody else, what is he doing? Was he himself, see, there are lots of situations. He could be holding the money for somebody else. Somebody, ki chalo, yahan pe the High Court judge's house, the residence is a safe haven. So yahan rakh diya, like, the Swiss banks, etc. It could be that, or he could be personally corrupt, or he may be taking a cut on this. One really can't say. So, and unless, that in depth, and that is why I said, his resignation alone is not going to help. Even if he resigns, there should be some kind of an inquiry to know as to what, how things are being dealt with. That is important. Because people just talk offhandedly or loosely, this judge is corrupt, that judge is corrupt, usse leta paisa, uske through leta hai. But then one must know, how exactly these people deal with.
So you are saying that, this entire modus operandi, if this at all is, you are saying for sure this is ill-gotten money. So the inquiry should go to the depth as to whose money is it? Is the judge holding the money for somebody else? Who are the people involved? So all this should be revealed. Then
yes, how he accumulated that kind of cash. That's important. You see. Otherwise, what is the inquiry about then? Except that, then you just say step 1, money found, step 2, resign, khatam. That's the end of it. You don't do that.
Right.
Money found, after that, money recovered, you find out how it was done, who was responsible, all that. And you pin responsibility on each and every one of them. It's not only this person, who should be involved. You think, he's working single-handedly, by himself. Like a lone wolf, ki paisa, all this money is with him.
I'm sure that he would not be, handling 50 crore all by himself. And he's not doing it. There must be people along with him.
Oh yes, absolutely. There must be, and therefore it is important for them to, hold an inquiry. And how much they will be able to do, I don't know whether the judges have the means to do the kind of investigation. That is also a thing. You see, all these things are very sophisticated. Phones are, WhatsApp messages are sent, or whatever messages are sent, this happens, that happens. There's so many things behind the curtain. Now, whether the judges themselves have the wherewithal to inquire and to inquire, so completely or so meticulously, all these things. But of course, they can take assistance, of some police officers or whoever, of some person who knows how to do things. But technology is such a thing.
Right. But some people have also spoken about a CBI inquiry. Now, will a CBI inquiry in this particular case of Justice Yashwant Varma will not work?
No, no, no. Right now, there would be no provision of a CBI inquiry. You see, there are
Hmm.
certain limitations, and those limitations, you can't possibly bypass the rule of law. If the rule
No,
of
but
law
what
is
is
there,
the
it's for
procedure like?
everyone.
If you have
Pardon?
to seek an inquiry into the conduct of the judge,
Uh,
what is the procedure? You have to inform the president issues orders for a CBI inquiry. What is it like?
No, 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 not the CBI inquiry. The inquiry, please. One must understand that the inquiries, the within the judicial circles itself. I think there are two justices, two chief justices who are involved in some other. A team of judges, they inquire. They can take assistance from others, who they think could help them. For example,
Right.
even setting up a laptop. Not everyone is, conversant with it. So you do that, how it has been done.
Right. Okay. So my last question to you, ma'am, is
Complicated.
that
It's complicated. There's no doubt about it. It's complicated. But people must clear this mess. People
right.
must get to the depth of it, to the center of it to know the.
But is an honest inquiry guaranteed in this particular case, ma'am? That's what I'm
Oh,
worried
yes,
about.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it, I wouldn't doubt it. I
So,
wouldn't doubt it.
and Supreme Court in-house inquiry only will do this.
CBI, so the Supreme Court Collegium can, constitute a committee which will look into it. Why not? I have full faith, there. I don't think anybody is going to save that gentleman,
No, but
nor is he going to be condemned unheard. And this
no,
is
but
important.
ma'am, let's be honest that there have been several committees which have been constituted by the Supreme Court in various other cases, but they've not been able to reach a very convincing
No, no,
conclusion.
no, no, no. I don't think so. I don't think
SEBI.
so. See, it's not a question of a commission, a judicial commission. It's not an inquiry. It's not a commission. It's an inquiry. It's an inquiry. This is the most that the judges can do.
Right.
See, as I said, there is a procedure prescribed, and that procedure has to be followed.
Hmm.
Nobody is above that procedure. So there's a fairness in the procedure that is in depth. I mean, inbuilt in it. So
Hmm.
the person will be heard. The person will, record his statement. All that will be done, and that should be done.
Right.
He should also be asked.
Right. My last question to you, ma'am, is that are you expecting any kind of backlash from the various bar associations of the country or the Supreme Court Bar Association when they write to the judges? What are you expecting?
The Bar Association of Allahabad High Court, I see that they have protested that he be not sent to Allahabad because the Allahabad High Court is not a dumping ground. But that they've said. But what else? What more can the the bar associations demand? I was just thinking that they are the ones who should. But then again, there are so many vested interests. Also, people will say this person is corrupt for reasons of his own. It could be anything. It could be anything. Just because he's honest, just because he's strict, etc., etc. But what I have seen in my experience, Nilu, that initially, a lot of people are dubbed like, oh, okay, he's corrupt and all that. But that term does not stick to the person for a long time. So only a person who's actually corrupt, on him, if you see that, that corrupt word, that is stuck on him. But here I find, as I found, somebody sent me a message from Allahabad High Court, and they said that he had a very good impression about this person, and he was a liberal judge, and he came from a very good family, etc., etc., and he was a very fair-minded person. So it's very confusing. The signals are very confusing about this person. So either all that was just a facade, and if that is a facade, you need to go behind that facade and see and expose all that, because a person is not only how he appears, it's much more than that.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful to have you on this program. Thank you very much.
Stay ahead with our cutting edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.